Good morning, everybody. Welcome back and welcome to the new and the, oh, you're all new. We're all brand new every single day. So, hi, there's space up here at the front. So I always invite everybody, please listen to your bodies no matter what I tell you or anybody else. Your body, of course, is going to be the boss, or it'll beat you up afterwards. And then you want to blame things like me or yoga. We are going to talk about today yoga for too much sitting. I'm just wondering what we did before we had a computer. I don't think we sat so much. I don't remember. I'm just going to turn that music off for a second. So basically, when we sit too much, a lot of things are compromised. First of all, it's correlated, too much sitting is correlated with heart disease, diabetes, there we go, stroke, high blood pressure, obesity, blah, blah, blah. But the other thing is when we don't sit up properly, which means if we're not honoring our lower back, typically we're hunched over, and that compromises breathing, circulation, digestion. So today, it's not going to be a difficult class, but for those people who feel that their backs could use a little love, and hip flexors and hamstrings, which I damaged about 3 weeks ago. I've done both sides now, so I'm feeling a little more balanced in life. Not really. But you know what? Just notice, and I'll talk about some of the anatomy. Notice where you're feeling things. Typically, most of us feel different on one side compared to the other. We favor one side. We may have injured one side. That's life. So let's come on to our backs. And as I said, please always pay attention to whatever you're feeling. And let's start by drawing both knees up in towards the chest. One hand on each knee, and just do a little rocking from side to side. You're drawing your knees up towards your chest. And you might make some big circles on your lower back. So when we sit a lot, our hamstrings get shortened and tight. We need our hamstrings for walking, for bending. We need them for so much. You don't really know what you use certain muscles for until you hurt them. And then our hip flexors, we need those too for walking, for bending. But the lower back, of course, is where a lot of us can feel soreness, pain. All right, let's extend the left leg down in front and keep your right knee bent and interlock your fingers 2 inches below your knees. Now lift your shoulder blades up and tuck them under, and then tilt your chin towards the center of your chest. So just so you got a nice long torso, nice long neck, shoulders away from your ears. So you're pulling that right knee right down into your ascending colon. Let's flex the foot on the left side, so you're straightening the leg. Now that does a little bit of stretching to your hamstrings, but I want you to bring your attention back to your right ankle and foot, and point the foot and flex it. Point and flex, point and flex. And now rotate the foot at the ankle. There's a massive amount of bones and joints in the foot and ankle area. Change the direction. And by mobilizing them, we lubricate the joints. And I want us to think about our feet like the tires of a car. We're going to think about inflating them when we're standing up, just to cushion our standing or walking. Okay, and now with your left hand on the outside of your right knee, gently take it across your body. Extend your right arm out to the right side. You're going to feel this perhaps in your glutes, your butt cheeks. Maybe you feel it in your IT band, maybe in the hip joint, maybe even up into your lower back. Breathe into this space. and make sure that you're exhaling. That's how we really let go. Think about your exhalation as letting go of any kind of tension or stress. Stay present with what you're doing, practicing mindfully. Breathing. And keep a little bit of pressure. Notice how much resistance or perhaps some letting go in that butt area, in the hip area. Stress doesn't happen in the blink of an eye, and letting go doesn't either. So with your right arm stretched out, just draw your attention for a moment to your shoulder area. How's that feeling? Stretching through the pectoral muscles, the chest muscles. These guys get tight, especially when we sit in forward flexion. And then inhale, bring the knee back to the center. One more time, hug it in. And then let's straighten the leg, reaching the hand up towards the ankle. Don't hyperextend. You don't even need to keep your leg really straight. Just see how much it wants to straighten. Inhaling in place with your hands around your ankles. You're going to feel this in your hamstrings. On an exhale, pull the leg towards you and bring your head, maybe your nose, towards your knee. Maybe your chin towards your shin. Breathe into your hamstrings. Exhaling. Good deep inhaling and exhaling. And on your next exhale, release the leg, bend the knee, draw the other knee up. And again, a little bit of rocking from side to side, or maybe circles. You can feel some energy moving through the back of your right thigh, enlivening those muscles, increasing circulation. And then extend your right leg down in front. And let's flex the foot of the right leg. This stretches and strengthens the hamstrings and the calf muscles. And then interlock your fingers around your left knee. Lift your shoulder blades up, tuck them under, and once again, please tilt your chin towards the center of your chest. And now point the foot of the bent leg and flex. Point and flex, point and flex, and rotate, making circles with your foot to lubricate your ankle, and change the direction. You can almost think about your ankles like shock absorbers on the car. We think nothing of maintaining our cars. Well, if we don't, they're not going to work. So think about yoga as maintaining your primary vehicle, your body. Place your right hand on the outside of your left knee, extend your left arm out to the left side, and gently take that left knee over to the right side. Now, because I did something to my left hamstrings, and you may be feeling it a little more on one side or the other. I'm definitely feeling it on this side. Some injuries just take time to heal. I have an excellent chiropractor. I have a great masseur. I've seen them both. I'm sure it helped, but sometimes it's just a matter of time. So breathing into whatever place or space needing your attention, your caring awareness, not your judgments, not your blame, just caring awareness. Breathe into it. Make sure you're exhaling whenever you feel like sighing. Letting go. There's so much stress and tension out there in the world, in our own personal, private world, in the world at large. The best we can do sometimes is try to let go of what you can and pray. So notice whether or not your body, your hip, your glutes, are they starting to let go, release some of the tension and stress? Stress isn't just physical, it's mental, it's emotional. It can even be existential. We don't have to know what the stress is when we're practicing. We just have to be practicing mindfully, carefully, and let your breath soften everything. Let your breath keep you present. Whenever your mind wanders from what you're doing, notice it and give yourself credit that you noticed. And then inhale, bring that knee back to center, rolling onto your backs. Draw the knee once again into the chest. And then reach your hands towards your ankle as you begin to straighten or even just semi-straighten your leg. We only want to work to the edge of what feels healthy and wholesome. There's no ego, there's no heroics in yoga. This is all about being mindful and practicing ahimsa, nonviolence. So inhaling in place, exhale, pull the leg towards you, lift your head, neck and shoulders off the ground towards your leg. Breathe into those hamstrings. Some people compare too much sitting to the new smoking. So even if we do in our lives have to sit for long periods of time, please be mindful and get up every half hour, do something else, and then come back to what you were doing. Being unkind or unmindful does not help us accomplish our responsibilities. Being kind and mindful helps us get through our day. One more breath in. Exhale, lower your head, neck, and shoulders back down onto the mat. Bend that leg. Draw the other knee up once again. Knees can be as wide apart as you like. And let's just do some gentle rocking from side to side, or perhaps, again, making those circles. And if you are making a circle, change the direction. And now place the soles of your feet with your knees still bent on the edges of your mat. So just find the edge of your mat, knees are bent. Take your arms out to the side. Palms can be facing up or perhaps down, whichever feels okay. Inhaling in place, press the small of your back towards the floor to engage your core, and then slowly lower both legs, knees over to the left. You're keeping your feet on the edges of your mat, and you're lowering both knees over to the left. So you're going to feel more of this on the right IT band, stretching out lower back, still stretching out the hips, a little bit of stretch through the rib cage here, and again, stretching through the right pectoral muscles. Inhale to center. Exhale, feet stay flat on the ground, although you're rolling over onto the edges of your feet as you take your knees to the right. You may wish to turn your head to the left. Gently awakening the spine, stretching through the rib cage. Inhaling fully, exhaling completely. Inhale one more time, back to center, so your feet pretty much stay on the edge of the mat. Exhale, both knees once again over to the left. Then pick up your left foot and place it on top of your right knee. And breathe. This intensifies the stretch through the right side of the body, the right hip, the thigh, hip flexors. And remove the foot, placing it back on the edge of your mat, then slowly bringing the knees back to the center. Exhaling, both knees to the right, and pick up your right foot and place it on top of your left knee. Again, breathing, so you're putting a little bit of pressure, not too much, not too little. In yoga, we want to feel something, even if it's just the breath. Breathing through your nose in warms and cleans the air coming in, but if you wish, you can breathe as if you were breathing through a straw when you exhale. And remove that foot, and let's come back to the center. And one more time, bring the knees into the chest, bring your hands onto your knees. Just some gentle rocking from side to side. And we're going to do one more thing on our back before we come on to our knees. Take your arms out to the side, shoulder height. Knees are glued together, thighs are glued together, your ankles and your calves are glued together. Press the small of your back into the floor. Feel your core engage. In this case, you may wish to turn your palms down, inhaling in place. Exhale, keep your knees together, drop both of them over to the left side. Keep your right shoulder on the floor, turn your head to the right. So this strengthens the core, your obliques, internal and external, that wrap around your waist. In yoga, we move the body in ways that we typically don't do throughout the day. Inhale, bring the knees back to the center. Feel your core, go slowly. Don't let it be like a spring. Intentionally lower the legs slowly to the right. Turn your head to the left. Keep your left shoulder on the mat. Feel your core engaging. Your knees are probably not touching the ground yet. Inhaling, bring the knees back to the center. Remember, your thighs, your knees, and your insteps are glued together. Once again, inhale in place and exhale. Lower both knees over to your left, keeping your right shoulder on the floor, and turn your head to the right. Now, we're mobilizing through the lower back, stretching it, releasing. You may notice your knees went a little bit further this time, or not. Inhaling, come back to center. And exhale one more time, dropping both knees with control to the right, head to the left. Now, notice if you're gone a little bit further this time than last time, as the lower back releases some of its stress and tension. Inhale, come back to center, and bring your hands onto your knees. And we're just going to do one little safe hamstring stretch here. So have your knees wider than your torso. Bring your hands inside of your legs and take hold of your insteps. Can you grab your insteps? Now, if you can't grab your insteps, you're going to grab your ankles. But if you can, try to take your insteps. Keep your knees outside of your arms and outside of your torso, and then attempt to bring your ankles directly over your knees. And breathe. So this is a beautiful hamstring stretch. Obviously, we're flexing in the hip area. Your hip flexors are active. They're in the front of your body. And it's a nice stretch also for the lower back. Not to mention, there's so many benefits to everything that we do in yoga. This gets into your ascending and descending colon. We'll be talking a little more about digestion and elimination throughout the classes as we progress. So yoga is so much more than just a physical exercise. It does so much for your physiology, how your body's working. Good deep inhaling and exhaling. And that will do. Now, a couple of options in terms of coming up and rolling over onto, we can either place our hands under the backs of our thighs and rock up to a seated position, or you can roll over onto your side and use your top arm to push yourself up. Your choice. Either rocking up and then come on over onto all fours. How's everybody doing? Any endorphins kicking in yet? I don't know why I feel like swimming right now. There's a good endorphin activity. Okay, so coming on to our hands and knees, cat-cow pose. We've always done it in yoga because it's so brilliant for warming up the spine. Now, when your hands are underneath your shoulders, if you have a look that the wrinkles in the front of your wrist are lining up with the front of your mat, then you know you have great alignment. Your middle finger's pointing towards the top of your mat, your thumbs are pointing towards one another, and you're spreading your fingers apart. Now, if your knees feel tender here, you can either pull your mat and make a cushion for your knees. Also, too, I have knee cushions if you need to. If this is hurting your wrists, you can either take your wrists a little bit further forward so you lessen the angle, or you can come onto your knuckles. Okay. Inhaling in place, pressing all your fingers into the mat. On an exhale, round your spine. Dip your tailbone down. Round your spine. Tuck your chin and pull your bellies in. On an inhale, curl your toes under. Start with your tailbone. Moving up, hollow out your lower back. Drop your chest and gently lift and lengthen through the neck and up through the crown. Eyes up to your third eye. Exhale, flatten the tops of your feet. Drop your tailbone. Round your spine. See the progression, visualize it through your spine as you tuck your chin. Pull your bellies in. Curl your toes under. Lifting the tailbone, hollow out the lower back. Lifting head. Now you're not cranking your neck here, but you're lengthening, lifting the chest a little bit forward. And then exhale, flatten the tops of your feet as you round your spine, coming up into cat, tucking your chin, pull your bellies in, curl your toes under, lifting tail, hollow out lower back, bringing your chest slightly forward so you're lengthening and opening up the front of your body. Shoulders stay away from your ears, eyes up to third eye. And one more round, flatten the tops of your feet. Drop and tuck your tail, round your spine, tuck your chin, bellies in. curl your toes under, inhaling to lift the tail, hollow out the lower back, bringing the chest forward, lifting eyes opened or closed up to your third eye, and return to neutral. Lift your left arm up, twisting, turning, reaching up, stretching up, and let's thread the needle, bringing that arm under the right, reaching through as far as you can. Release the shoulder and the side of your face to the floor, and tippy-toe the fingers of the right hand and arm so it is straight out in front. Beautiful twist, warming up our spines, lengthening, undoing whatever stress, tension, poor posture we may have been in. And again, be sure to exhale fully. In fact, your exhalations should be as long and even longer than your inhalations. We really almost have to consciously think about exhaling. Many of us are waiting for the other shoe to drop. Too much going on. We hear things, we see things, we gasp, we hold our breath. So a great way to just bring yourselves into a calmer state is to be sure to exhale. And then bring that arm in front, back under the shoulder, press yourself back up, coming into neutral. And now inhale, sweep the right arm up, reaching up, stretching up. Exhale, float it down, thread the needle under the left, and release your shoulder and the side of your head to the floor, and then tippy-toe the fingers of your left hand straight out in front. And just let go here. And tippy-toe the fingers and bring that, or slide the hand back under the wrist. And let's take child's pose, and then we're going to come up. So, couple options here. If your knees don't like to bend more than 90 degrees, you're going to keep your knees underneath your hips and just come into puppy pose. You may even cross your arms, make a pillow. But if your knees can handle, take them to the width of your mat. Big toes touch, flatten the tops of your feet. If your feet are prone to cramping, mine were for years in this position, I just went a lot slower, taking my hips towards my heels. Take your time. When we move slowly, we don't surprise the body. The body has an opportunity to think about and feel and help us move into a comfortable position. If you're able, forehead on the floor. If that's not comfortable, you fold your arms, make a pillow, or you can stack your fists one on top of the other. And remember, if your body is telling you this isn't comfortable, then please modify it or come out of it when you need to. So obviously this is a great stretch for the front of the ankles as well. Breathing into your side and back ribs. Interestingly, when we breathe, we only think about the front of the body, but about 60% of the breath is actually moving into the back and the sides of the body. And this is where you really get to notice it in our modified Balasana, child's pose. Inhaling, come on up. Draw the knees once again under the hips. Place your hands slightly forward of your shoulders now and curl your toes under. Place your hands forward, curl your toes under. Now make sure once again that the wrinkles in your wrists are lining up with your mat. We're going to come up into a downward dog, but we're just going to walk our dog. Okay? So lift your hips up, keep your knees soft. Keep your knees slightly bent. Now, press your left heel down and bend your right knee. So feel the stretch through the Achilles tendon, the calf, the back of your knee. So if we sit a lot, our calves get weak. So we're giving this a nice stretch now and change other side. Also too, when we sit a lot, there's no upper body strength. So downward dog, of course, creates and adds some strength in the arms and the shoulders. And let's change once again, one leg straight, one knee bent, and check in with your head here. Are you holding it? Just move it around. Let the weight of your head stretch out your neck vertebra. One more time, change. Feel the stretch in the back of your leg. Breathing. Inversions also change up and improve circulation throughout the body. All right, now walk your hands back towards your legs. Keep your knees soft here. Tense your fingers. Let your belly rest on your thighs, and please let the crown of your head just float down. Really just let your upper body hang here. This is a nice stretch for the spine. Nice release. One of the reasons we get a little shorter in life is that the gelatinous discs between the vertebra get compressed. So when we sleep at night, they plump up, and when we stretch, they also plump up, and staying hydrated is really important. Okay, letting your arms hang, letting your head hang, keep your knees soft, feel rooted and grounded through the soles of your feet, and slowly roll up one vertebra at a time, keeping your chin tucked into your chest. Let your head be the last thing to come up. And then once your head is up, bring your shoulders up towards your ears. Exhale, push them back and pull them down. Your armpits down. Okay, give your legs a good shake out. More endorphins. Alrighty, so I want you to think about your feet like tires, wheels on the car. And we're going to even think about inflating them, and I'll tell you how we're going to do that in a moment. So starting in the beginning, your feet are about a fist width apart, and the outsides of your feet are parallel to the outsides of your mat. Okay, so you might feel slightly pigeon-toed. Some of you may even be more than a fist, but it's not really, really wide. I prefer that the heels line up with the sits bones, your ishiotuberosities, when I think about alignment. And Tadasana is really about alignment. Okay, now when you lift your toes off the floor, feel your big toe mount, your baby toe mount in the center front of your heel. Now, a lot of us pronate, we collapse in the middle, and there's lots of reasons for that. Women carrying babies, it doesn't matter, shoes, footwear, what have you. But I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to really check in with, are you feeling anything in your baby toe mount? Because I'm sure you're feeling your big toe mount, but the center front of your heel, so you've got almost an isosceles triangle here of the foundation. So then place your toes back on the floor, and then if you draw your thighs up into your pelvis and you press into the outside of your feet, your toes aren't really doing anything right now, they're having a vacation. Feel your arches lifting. This is really important. When our arches are flat, then the knees take a hit and the hips take a hit eventually. Okay, Now lift your sternum away from your pelvic floor. How much more space is there now for everything going on in here? And there's a lot going on in there. Inhale, lift your shoulders up to your ears. Exhale, push them back, and then pull your armpits down. Let your chin float horizontal. Let your shoulders move away from your ears. And let your hands just rest by your side. Your eyes are focused on an imaginary horizon, and the crown of your head is floating up. So, perfect posture. You probably all grew an inch or two. You look taller. And of course, a smile. So make sure your shoulders, you can feel you're moving. We're so used to having our shoulders up, closer to our ears, that it can be work to keep the shoulders down. But the more we create these habits of good posture, the easier they become. Okay, so we're going to do half sun salutations. If you're not sure what they are, you may wish to just watch one round or listen carefully to my commands. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. Turn the palms out, bend your knees. You're going to swan dive your torso onto your thighs, fingertips tented on the floor just outside of and in front of your feet. On an inhale, you're going to lift your hips up. You may not be able to straighten your legs, that's okay, and let your head hang. Let your head hang. But you will feel this slightly in your hamstrings. And then exhale, bend your knees. All you're doing is bending your knees. You're dropping your hips. You're lengthening and straightening your spine. Your shoulders are moving away from your ears. On an inhale, sweep the arms out to the side, reaching up and overhead, bringing the palms together, and then turn the palms out and float your arms down, taking up lots of space. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Turn the palms out, exhale, float your arms down and float your torso onto your thighs, fingertips tented on your mat. Inhale, as your hips go up, the crown of your head goes down. Now this is where having a belly is helpful because you should be able to feel your belly on your thighs. Feel the stretch in the backs of your legs. Exhale, bend your knees, drop your hips. You're coming into a tuck position, basically. Move the shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, sweep the arms out to the side, reaching up, palms together. Exhale, turn the palms out and float your arms down. 2 more times. Inhale. Turn the palms out, exhale. Keep your thighs engaged. Feel what your quadriceps are doing. They're very active the entire time. They're not stressed, they're engaged, they're contracted. Inhale, lift your hips, let the crown of your head float down. Don't stretch any further than your hamstrings can be happy stretching. Give your head a shake here. Lots of times we just don't let our head hang. Please let it hang. Exhale, bend your knees and drop your hips. Now, move your shoulders away from your ears. Lengthen your spine. Inhale, sweep the arms out to the side, reaching up and overhead. Feel your thighs, they're still engaged. Exhale, float your arms down. And last time. Inhale, turn the palms out, exhale, floating onto your thighs, fingertips touch the floor. Inhale, lift the hips up. Exhale, float the arms down. And then inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, float the arms down. And let's resume Tadasana. Shoulders down, sternum lifted. And breathe. Okay, and give your legs a good shake out. So this is where you may wish to have your blocks handy. We're going to do a standing forward bend. So, wide-legged standing forward bend. Your feet are going to be slightly parallel, or maybe even slightly pigeon-toed. Now, you may need to turn sideways, so why don't we turn into the center? And if you're, I'm assuming everyone who has socks on has sticky stuff under their socks, because if you don't, I don't want you to slide. So turn sideways on your mat. Okay, so feet are parallel to one another, or maybe even slightly pigeon-toed. Now, this is where I want you to feel the outsides of your feet pressing into the outsides of your mat, all right? That lifts up at the arches. Place your hands on your hips. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, forward fold. You're hinging from your hips. Now, the reason the blocks are here is if you feel that you need the extra height. Some of you, no problemo, just bringing your fingertips to the floor, but that's the only reason the blocks were here. So you're lowering and bending, and this is stretching out your hip flexors, stretches your hamstrings. You're pressing through the outer edges of the feet so you can lift up through the arches. Contract your quadriceps. Draw your inner thighs up towards your pubic bone, and then let your gaze be through and behind your legs. Be sure you're pressing into the outside of your feet, lifting the arches, drawing your inner thighs up towards the pubic bone, letting your head hang. Your eyes can be closed or open, whatever feels okay. And then breathe into those hamstrings. Relax your neck, soften your belly. If you need to, often I just give my head a little bit of a shake, and then I find out if I'm holding it or letting my neck relax. A lot of tension. Most of it starts between our ears with our thinking. And then, of course, it filters down into our necks and our shoulders and our upper backs, and maybe eventually into our intestines and our bowels. We wonder why we're constipated, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's all connected. Walk your feet in towards one another, just slightly, so that your feet are wider than your hips, and now your toes are going to be turned out. Bend your knees, drop your hips, and let's come into goddess. Drop your hips a lot, drop your hips a lot. And then bring your arms up, come into goddess. Lengthen your spine, come into goddess. So make sure, again, you're pressing into the outside of your feet and you're pressing your knees wide. Inhale, come on all the way up. And then bring your arms behind your back. Give your legs a good shake out. Take your arms behind your back. Once again, feet wider than your hips here. Bend your knees, sink your butt just a little bit. Inhale, in place. And then exhale, fold forward. Bring the arms up and over. Releasing, crown towards the floor. Release your arms. Let your head hang. Let's slowly roll up one vertebra at a time, keeping your chin tucked into your chest. And then interlock your fingers the opposite way. You don't have to think about it, you'll feel it. Behind your back. Interlock your fingers behind your backs. Bend your knees, soften your knees. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Let your shoulder blades even kiss. Inhale, lifting your gaze, your chest. Exhale, fold from your hips, lifting your arms up and over. Feel your belly on your thighs. Let your head hang. Be mindful to not go any further than your shoulders are happy. Breathe. And then release your arms and bend your knees and come on back down onto the floor. Okay, legs are wide apart now. Now, if some of you feel that your backs could use a little extra elevation, if you fold the back of your mat, come ça, and sit on it, that'll give you a little extra. The blocks are a little bit too hard for this. Okay, so legs are wide apart. Lift yourself up from behind and push yourself forward so you're sitting nice and tall, right on your sit bones, and then flex your feet. Okay, so you're sitting up nice and tall. Inhale, sweep the arms up, reaching up. Now exhale, fold forward. Why don't we just come about halfway forward just for now? Now you can really feel this in your hamstrings. There are 3 hamstrings. They insert into your ischial tuberosities. If we spend a lot of time sitting, these babies shorten up. One more breath in, reaching forward. Now exhale and come forward. Now hands can be in the center. If you can, you might want to take your peace fingers and wrap them around your big toes. So you're going to flex your feet. So inhale, lift your chest up. What I would prefer is that you don't round your spine. If you need to bend your legs, and then lengthen your spine. Coming forward. So it doesn't matter how far over you go, keep your spine nice and long, as opposed to this sort of thing. Moving the chest forward, breathe into those hamstrings. Inhale, you might lift a little bit. Exhale. Again, if you wish to change the arms up, bringing them into the center. Maybe walking your hands forward, and maybe you're at your edge. Just hang in there. And it's possible throughout the summer, you did lots of exercise, you did lots of things, you bike ride, swim, walk a beach, whatever you did. But maybe these are muscles that didn't get much exercise this summer. So just know that of the 600 and approximately 50 muscles in the body, we're going to attempt over the next 10 weeks to work through all of them with love, with compassion, patience. Walk your hands back towards the center and bring your legs together and smile. Okay, pull the flesh out from underneath the backs of your sits bones and bang out the backs of your legs. Dandasana, seated pose. So you've pulled the flesh away from your sits bones. So now this is going to be an intense stretch, once again, for the hamstrings and for the lower back. So inhale and sweep the arms up. Lift up out of your hips. Exhale, forward fold, reaching. So come halfway. So this gets into a different part of the hamstrings, different portions of them. And then inhale, reach a little bit further. Exhale. If you can, you're going to take the edges of your toes. Maybe it'll be your ankles, maybe it'll be your calves. And again, if you need to, you can bend your legs if this is too intense. But listen to your bodies. Inhaling in to lengthen through the crown and straighten your spine. Breathing in, exhale, perhaps moving your chest whatever amount further forward that you can safely. Walk your hands up your legs And just spend a moment now in Dandasana. And notice a little more ease, perhaps in the lower back, a little more ease through the hamstrings. Flex your feet. Let's try this one more time. Inhale, stretching up. Now lift up out of your waist as you hinge from your hips, reaching, stretching with your arms, and bring your hands again, either to the outside of your feet, over top of your feet, or your ankles, whichever you can take hold of. Inhale, lengthening, lifting your chest, not rounding your spine. Exhale, forward fold. Try to keep the shoulders away from the ears. Breathing in. And on an exhale, can you make one last attempt, if there's any room, to bring your torso a little bit closer to your legs. Walk your hands back up, and once again, bang out the backs of your legs. Let's bring the soles of our feet together. Taking hold of the feet. Inhale, lifting the chest up and letting the knees open as far as they are able. Inhale in place, lengthening, feel your sits bones grounding. Exhale, forward fold whatever amount you can. Here you can round your spine and drop your head. Excellent for the urinary tract, as well as releasing tension, stress, and impurities from our sexual and reproductive organs and glands. Baddha Konasana. Inhaling, come up. Let's come on to our bellies for a moment. Bring the arms beside the body. Forehead on the floor. Palms are facing up, legs are together. Reaching your fingertips towards your feet. Roll an invisible alley with your nose so that you're looking straight down at your mat. On an inhale, lift your head, neck, shoulders, arms. Half Salabhasana, Ardha Salabhasana. Working through the muscles, 4 layers of them that surround, support, protect your spine. One more breath in. Exhale, turn your head to the right. Bring your toes together, let your heels splay out, and let your shoulders melt. Back bends are cardiovascularly demanding. They release fear from the back of our body. We store aggression in the front, fear in the back. Everybody has fear. It's a primal hard wiring in us, if you will, from our reptilian brains. And bring your head back to the center. Once again, your forehead's on the mat. Bring the shoulders away from the ears, fingertips towards your feet. Pressing your hips and pelvis into the floor. Roll an invisible alley, lengthening your neck, looking down at your mat. On an inhale, let's lift head, neck, shoulder, arms, and legs are coming up in full locust pose, Salabhasana. Feet are together. On an inhale, can you lift up a little more? Exhale to hold. One more breath in. Exhale, release. Turn your head to the opposite side. Big toes touch, heels splay out, and shoulders melt. Obviously, cardiovascularly demanding. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Inhale, press up. Coming into child's pose, knees are together. Again, if your knees don't like to bend 90 degrees, you're coming into puppy pose, keeping bum up in the air, knees mostly at a 90 degree or the full balasana, arms around your body, forehead on the floor if that's available. If not, create a pillow with your forearms, releasing any tension or stress from the lower back. Inhale, come up onto all fours. Once again, bring your knees underneath your hips. Press all 5 fingers into the floor. Make sure your middle finger's pressing forward. Curl your toes under. Just do a little bit of core work here, strengthening the back of the body and the core. Lift your knees off the floor. So you're just hovering the knees off the floor. And release the knees to the floor. Extend the right leg straight out behind you, the left arm straight out in front of you. Bring elbow to knee underneath the body. Extend leg and arm. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, extend. Exhale, crunch, and back down. Extend the other arm and opposite leg straight out behind you. Inhale to stretch. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, knee to elbow. Last time, stretching. Exhale, knee to elbow. And now finally, Shavasana, flat out and relaxing. Eye pillows. I could bring the box around if you don't have one. There's tissue. I should separate these babies. And there's your iPad. Okay. Does anybody else? Do you have one? I'll give you a piece. Oh, that one. Oh, you know what? This one feels better. Here, and there's your napkin. Okay. Okay, so bring yourself into flat out and relaxing. Rick, would you like? You sure? Okay, Hill? You're good? Megan? Okay, anybody else? Oh, your iPad's on, that's fine. Do you want one for your eyes too? Or do you want it for your chest? Oh, okay. All right. Hi. Would you like one?
No, better not. My eyes are really sensitive.
Oh, they are? Okay. Okay. All right. In this position, can you place your left hand near your heart center, your right hand on your belly? Just notice the movement of breath in And breath out. No control, simply allowing. Separate the biting surfaces of the teeth, relax the jaw. Palms are facing up in the open and receiving position. Let your eyeballs sink into their sockets and let your body be soft and heavy. When you feel inclined, bring your arms back beside your body in a way that allows your shoulders and shoulder blades to connect with the earth. Allowing your bodies to be soft and heavy. Inhaling the life force, long, full, and deep exhaling. Long, full, deep inhaling, deep and complete exhale. Inhaling very, very deep and letting it all go. Inhale, stretch your arms over behind your heads. Reach and stretch, point feet far, flex and point, and drop your arms down by your side. Inhale and reach your arms skybound, reach and stretch. Wiggle your fingers, point your toes, flex and point, and drop them down by your side. There's no hurry to get up. You can stay in Shavasana as long as you like. And just a few words from the founder of Taoism. If you're depressed, you're living in the past. If you are anxious, you're living in the future. If you're at peace, you're living in the present. And when you're ready, and only when you're ready, roll over onto your sides, using your top arm to press yourself up. Thank you for sharing your practice with me. Namaste. Have a beautiful day.
Salutations, prostrations, memories, all just love, shiva,
Any questions or comments are always welcome. Be sure to drink water. You've flushed out a few toxins, push them out, make room for more. Thanks again.